Today we are going to discuss about the new chapter, Anatomy of Flowering Plants. The last chapter we already discussed about morphology of flowering plants. We already understood what is morphology and the parts of a plant. So here we are discussing about the anatomy of flowering plants. Do you heard about the term anatomy? What is anatomy? It is a branch of biology which deals with the study of internal structure and tissues of plants or other organisms. That is called anatomy. So what is anatomy? It's a branch of biology which deals with the study of tissues and internal structure of plants and other organisms. That is called anatomy. We already know that all these particular organisms are developed from a single cell. So, cell is the fundamental structural and functional unit of living organism. So, the basic unit of living organism is called a cell. Is it clear? We know that cells are organized into tissues, which is organized into organ, then that is organized into organ system, and all the organ system work together to form an organism. So if you consider any one of the organism, we can see that their life is begin from a single cell. So cell is the fundamental or the basic unit of living organism. In this chapter we are going to discuss about the plant tissue system. Based on the capacity of the cell division, there are two types of plant tissues. Based on the capacity of the cell division, there are two types of plant tissues. One is called meristematic tissues, another one is called permanent tissues. Is it clear? Based on the capability of cell division, plant tissues are two types, meristematic tissues and permanent tissue. What is meristematic tissue? These are the young and actively dividing cell. That is called meristematic tissue. Once the cell is actively divided, what will happen? The growth occurs. Based on the position, there are three types of meristem. We already explained what is meristem. Meristems are the actively dividing cell. Because of that active cell division, the growth will occur. Is it clear? So, based on that particular position of the meristem, there are three types of meristem. One is called apical meristem, another one is intercalary meristem, another one is lateral meristem. This is one of the structure of apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. What basis this classification? Based on their position of the meristem. If you consider one plant, where is it this particular meristems located? That basis the meristems are divided into three. One is called apical meristem, another one is called intercalary meristem, another one is called lateral meristem or secondary meristem. So we can discuss one by one. First one is apical meristem. Apical meristem. These type of meristems occur at the apex of the stem and tip of the root. Is it clear? Root apical meristems occur at the tip of the root, and the shoot apical meristems occur at the apex of the stem axis. So these are the type of apical meristem. One is root apical meristem and another one is shoot apical meristem. So, the apical meristems occur at the apex of the stem and root. Is it clear? Stem and root. What is the functions performed by this apical meristem? We already know that meristems are the actively dividing cell. Because of that, the growth occur. So, here that particular apical meristem is occur at the tip of the stem or the tip of the root. What will happen? That particular meristem helps to increase the length of the plant stem and root. Is it clear? Because of the cell division, the growth will occur. That is the reason why this apical meristem is helped to increase the length of the stem axis and the length of the root tip. Is it clear? This is the function done by Which type of meristem? Apical meristem. Look, this is the root apical meristem and shoot apical meristem. Apical meristem, it occupies the tip of the root. Look, this is the tip of the root. We already learned this particular concept. Is it clear? Region of root. So root cap is present. So this is the root apical meristem. This is the shoot apical meristem. Shoot apical meristem means this is this part. Is it clear? There is it. Which type of meristem present? Apical meristem is present. Next type of meristem, that is called intercalary meristem. What is intercalary meristem? This occurs between the matured tissues. Especially this type of meristems are found in monocot stem. Example, grasses. If you observe the grass, that is one kind of the monocot plant. If you observe that particular monocot stem, we can see that between the matured tissue there is a meristem. That meristem is called intercalary meristem. This particular intercalary meristems are raised from the nodal part of the stem. Nodal part. What is nodal part? Last chapter we already explained about the nodes and internodes. What is nodes? The region of the stems where the leaf is born, that is called a node. So at that position, what type of meristem is present? Intercalary meristem is present. Example, grasses. This particular meristem can regenerate parts removed by the grazing herbivores. Is it clear? So we can say that the apical meristem and intercalary meristems are the primary meristem because they appear early in plant life and contribute to the formation of primary plant body. During that, the specific region of the apical meristem produce dermal tissues, ground tissues and vascular tissue. Dermal tissues means epidermal tissues, ground tissues and vascular tissues. We are going to explain this all later. Okay, so what is apical meristem? What is intercalary meristem? Apical meristems are located at the apex of root and stem. Then another one is the intercalary meristem. That particular meristem is located between the matured tissue. These two particular meristems are help to form a primary meristem. Is it clear? These are called primary meristem, that is helping in the formation of dermal tissue, ground tissue and vascular tissue. Is it clear? Then another one is called these are present along the lateral side of the dicot stem and root. Such a type of meristem is called lateral meristem or secondary meristem. This type of meristem we can see in gymnosperm and dicot plants. Example, interfascicular cambium, fascicular cambium and cork cambium. These all are the different type of lateral meristem or secondary meristem. This meristem is responsible for the secondary growth, or we can say that these are responsible for producing the secondary tissues. What is the functions of this particular meristem? Growth in thickness of the plant or increasing the girth of the plant. That particular function is performed by lateral meristem or secondary meristem. So we can say that based on their position, meristems are divided into three types: apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. Next one, classification based on origin. There are two types of meristem. Classification based on origin. Based on origin, there are two types of meristem. One is called primary meristem, another one is called a secondary meristem. What is primary meristem? Primary meristem means the meristem which originate from the embryonic meristem, that is called a primary meristem. They appear early in life and contribute the formation of the plant body. Such a type of meristem is called a primary meristem. Example, apical meristem and intercalary meristems are called primary meristem. Then another one kind of the meristem that is based on origin, that is called a secondary meristem. What is secondary meristem? This type of meristems are originate from the permanent tissue, that is called secondary meristem. Example we already discussed. One is interfascicular cambium, fascicular cambium and cork cambium. So these are the different type of meristem. One is based on the position. There are three type of meristem: apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. Another one based on origin. Two type of meristem. One is primary meristem and another one is secondary meristem. Is it clear? Then another one type of the tissue, that is called permanent tissue. What is permanent tissue? When the meristematic cell lost their dividing capacity, or when the meristematic cell lost their ability to divide the cell, at that time that particular meristem take the permanent shape. Such a type of cell is called a permanent cell, or we can call the permanent tissues. Is it clear? There are two type of permanent tissues. One is called simple permanent tissues and another one is called complex permanent tissues. What are they? Simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. What is simple permanent tissue? Such a type of tissue is made up of one type of cell. Such a type of tissue is made up of only one type of cell, that is called simple permanent tissue. Then another one is called complex permanent tissue. Complex permanent tissue means such a type of cells made up of, or such a type of tissue is made up of more than one type of cell. So if it is made up of one type of cell, that is called a simple permanent tissue. If it is made up of more than one type of cell, that is called complex permanent tissues. Is it clear? Here we are discussing about the simple permanent tissue. What is simple permanent tissue? Simple permanent tissue means such a type of tissues are made up of only one type of cell. There are three type of simple permanent tissue. One is called a parenchyma, another one is called a collenchyma, another one is called a sclerenchyma. What are they? Parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Look, these are the different type of permanent tissue, simple permanent tissue. Parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. All these tissues having similar cells in structure and function. Is it clear? So first we are discussing about the parenchyma cell. What is parenchyma cells? These are isodiametric in shape. It may be oval, round or polygonal in shape. Isodiametric shape ആകാം, polygonal shape ആകാം, oval ആകാം, round shape ആകാം. പല ഷേപ്പുകളിലായിട്ട് എന്ത് കാണപ്പെടുന്നുണ്ട്? parenchyma celluകൾ കാണപ്പെടുന്നുണ്ട്. Parenchyma cells are living cells. Their cells are thin and that is made up of cellulose. Is it clear? Some of the parenchyma cells contain intercellular space is present. Some of them are closely packed cells. Closely packed means between the cells there is no space, which means they are tightly packed. Look, there is no space. Then sometimes some parenchyma cells contain which present intercellular space is present. Look, there is a space between the cells, that is called intercellular space. Is it clear? So some of the cells are closely packed or tightly packed. Some of them contain intercellular space is present. So these are the parenchyma cells. What is the functions of parenchyma cells? Photosynthesis, storage and secretion. So these are the function performed by which is type of cells? Parenchyma cells. Next one, collenchyma cell. This type of cells are living simple permanent tissues. Parenchyma also living simple permanent tissue. Collenchyma also living simple permanent tissue. So this type of collenchyma consists of cells which is thickened at the corner due to the deposition of cellulose, hemicellulose and pectin. എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് ആ പറയുന്ന കോളൻകൈമ സെല്ലിന്റെ കോർണർ സൈഡുകൾ തിക്കൻഡ് ആകാനുള്ള കാരണം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതിന്റെ സെൽ ബോർഡ് തിക്കൻഡ് ആകാനുള്ള കാരണം ഡ്യൂ ടു ദ ഡെപ്പോസിഷൻ ഓഫ് സെല്ലുലോസ്, ഹെമിസെല്ലുലോസ് ആൻഡ് പെക്റ്റിൻ. Is it clear? Parenchyma cell is thin, that is made up of cellulose, but the collenchyma cell is thickened at the corner due to the deposition of cellulose, hemicellulose and pectin. Intercellular spaces are absent. Look, this is one of the collenchyma cells. Look, all the corner side is thickened due to the deposition of what? Cellulose, hemicellulose and pectin. So these all are the different type of the collenchyma. Here also the collenchyma cells are appearing round, spherical or polygonal in shape. Is it clear? This is called a collenchyma cell. So what is the functions performed by collenchyma cell? Their main function is mechanical support. Mechanical support, because their corner side is thickened due to the deposition of this kind of product. So we can say that their function is mechanical support. They provide mechanical support to the growing parts such as end stem and petiole of a leaf. Then the cells that contain chloroplast assimilate the food. If suppose that particular parenchyma contain chloroplast, that is helping for assimilate the food material. These are the functions performed by parenchyma. Next one, sclerenchyma cells. It is a type of simple permanent tissue. Usually these cells are dead without protoplast. So here there is no protoplast, the same time cells are dead. So these cells, their cell walls are thickened due to the deposition of lignin. Because of the lignin deposition, their cell walls are thickened. The same time the cell structure, if you consider, we can see that they are narrow elongated cell. Based on the shape, there are two types of sclerenchyma cells. One is called fiber and another one is called sclerid. Fiber and sclerid. Based on the shape, the sclerenchyma cells are divided into two, fiber and sclerid. If you observe the fiber, we can see that what fibers are elongated, pointed structure which contain lumen. Lumen means large cavity. But the sclerids are how like? Sclerids are round or oval in shape which contain less cavity, or we can say that minute pore is present in where? Sclerid. First one is the fiber. Fibers are the thick wall. Why is it thick wall? Due to the deposition of lignin. They are elongated and pointed cells generally occur in groups. Another one is sclerid. What is sclerid? They are spherical or oval or cylindrical in shape, highly thickened dead cells with very narrow cavity. This is the narrow cavity, lumen. Here very small lumen only, but here very large lumen is present. Is it clear? Large cavity is present. So this is the sclerid structure, this is the fiber structure. Both the what type of cells? Sclerenchyma cell or sclerenchyma tissue, both are dead cells without protoplast. The function performed by this type of cell is mechanical support. Next one, complex permanent tissue. What is complex permanent tissue? This type of tissues are made up of more than one type of cell, that is called a complex permanent tissue. If it is made up of one type of cell, that is called a simple permanent tissue. If it is made up of more than one type of cell, that is called a complex permanent tissue. There are two types of complex permanent tissue. One is called xylem and another one is called a phloem. You already heard about the term xylem and phloems are the two type of complex permanent tissue. First here we are going to discuss about the xylem. What is xylem? These are the conducting tissue which conduct the water and minerals from where to where, root to stem and stem to different part of the plant body. That is the functions performed by xylem. Xylem consists of four important components. One is called tracheids, another one is called vessels, another one is called xylem fibers or wood fiber, another one is called Xylem Parenchyma or we can call wood parenchyma. These are the four components present in where? Xylem. What are they? Tracheids or xylem tracheids, then xylem vessels or vessels, then wood parenchyma or we can call Xylem Parenchyma, then another one is called wood fiber or xylem fiber. These are the four important components present in where? Xylem. So here we are discussing one by one. First one is called xylem tracheids. What is xylem tracheids? This is one of the example for xylem tracheids. If you observe this structure, we can say that they are the elongated tube-like dead cells. They are the elongated tube-like dead cells with a thickened cell wall due to the deposition of lignin. Because of the lignin, the cell walls are thickened at a tapering end. These are the tapering end, that pointed end. That pointed end is how like thickened due to the deposition of lignin. In this case, the protoplasm is absent. We cannot see the protoplasm here. The same time, in flowering plants, the tracheids and the vessels are transporting the water and mineral. These are the main elements transporting water and minerals in which kind of plant? Angiospermic plants, or we can say that flowering plants. Then another one kind of the xylem component, that is called vessels. These are the vessels. If you consider the vessels, we can see that these are the long cylindrical tube-like structure that is made up of many dead cells. Here also that particular cell walls are thickened due to the deposition of lignin, which contain a large central cavity. So vessels also have like cylindrical or tube-like elongated structure that is made up of dead cells. These vessels also what kind of cell? Dead cells. Their cell wall also made up of what kind of composition? Lignified composition. Because of the lignin deposition, that particular cell walls are thickened, which contain the large central cavity. Here also protoplasm is absent. Is it clear? We can say that these particular vessels are the characteristic feature of what? All angiospermic plants. Vessels are the characteristic feature of all angiospermic plants, but these vessels are absent in where? Gymnosperm plant. Next one, xylem fibers. What is xylem fiber? The sclerenchyma cells are associated with the xylem, that is called a xylem fiber. Cell wall thickened, dead, elongated cells with a tapering end. Because these particular cells are associated with the sclerenchyma cell. That is the reason why the cells are dead. The same time the cells are thickened. What is the reason thickened? What is the reason behind to become thickened? Due to the deposition of lignin in their cell wall. Is it clear? That is the reason why this type of cells are thickened the same time which contain the central lumens. Central lumens, that central lumens are reduced lumen, or we can say that obliterated central lumen. Reduced lumen is found in where? Xylem fiber. So this xylem fiber contain their cell walls are either septate or aseptate. What is septate or aseptate? Septate means between the cells there is a cross wall. Aseptate means there is no cross wall between the cell. Aseptate means without cross wall, that is called aseptate. Septate means with the cross wall between the cell, that is called a septate. So some of the cells are septate or some of the cells are aseptate condition. So what is xylem fiber? The sclerenchyma cells are associated with the xylem, that is called a xylem fiber, or we can call wood fiber. Is it clear? So these cells also dead cells. So we already learned about the xylem fiber, brackets, vessel. These all are the dead cells. Next one, Xylem Parenchyma. What is Xylem Parenchyma? Xylem Parenchyma means the parenchymatous cell is associated with the xylem. The parenchymatous cell is associated with the xylem, that is called Xylem Parenchyma. These are the living thin walled cells. That particular thin cell wall is made up of cellulose. These are the xylem parenchymatous cells perform the functions like storage. What they are storing? Starch or fat and other substances like tannin. Then in angiospermic plants, the secondary xylem consists of radially elongated parenchymatous cells, that is called a ray parenchymatous cell, that is helping for the radial conduction of water. That is called a ray parenchyma. What is ray parenchyma? Ray parenchymas are found in where? In angiospermic plants. Angiospermic plant, the secondary xylem. Secondary xylem means after the secondary growth, the secondary xylem develop. That secondary xylems contain radially elongated. Which type of cell? Radially elongated parenchymatous cell, that is called a ray parenchyma cell, that is helping for the radial conduction of water. So we already discussed about the 4 type of xylem components. What are they? Xylem vessels, xylem brackets, xylem fibers and xylem parenchyma, or we can say that vessels, brackets, fibers and xylem fibers and xylem parenchyma. Among these 4 components, 3 of the xylem's components are dead. What are the dead components of xylem? Xylem vessels, xylem brackets and xylem fiber. These 3 are the dead component. Only one living component of the xylem, that is called a xylem parenchyma. What is the function performed by these components? Xylem vessels, xylem brackets and xylem fiber. These are perform the functions like mechanical support and also make functions like conduction of water. Then another one of the component, that is Xylem Parenchyma, is perform the function like storage and radial conduction of water, or we can say that conduction of water and mineral. So altogether we can say that the Xylem function is conduction of water and minerals from where to where, soil to root and root to different part of the plant body. Is it clear? Next we are discussing about the type of primary xylem. What is primary xylem? During the primary growth, this type of xylems are developed. Is it clear? Primary growth and secondary growth we already understood. Primary growth takes place with the help of the primary meristems. What are the primary meristem? Apical meristem and intercalary meristem. Secondary growth takes place with the help of the secondary meristem or lateral meristem. So that time secondary xylem develop, primary xylem develop at the time of primary growth. That particular primary xylems are of two types. One is called protoxylem, another one is called metaxylem. Protoxylem means the first formed primary xylem is called a protoxylem, which bears narrow vessels. The protoxylem means the first formed primary xylem. So that particular xylems contain narrow vessels. Another one is called metaxylem, that is the later formed primary xylem. What is called later formed primary xylem? This later formed primary xylem bears or produce large vessels. Here narrow vessels, here large vessels. Look this picture. Here this small round structure is called a protoxylem, that is the first formed xylem, and this bigger one, bigger sized structure, that is called metaxylem. So what is protoxylem and metaxylem? The first formed primary xylem is called protoxylem. They bears the narrow vessels, and the later formed primary xylem is called metaxylem. They bears large vessels. Here narrow vessels, protoxylem. Metaxylem case, large vessels. Look, this is the metaxylem. This bigger sized structure is called metaxylem, and the small spherical structure is called what? Protoxylem. Is it clear? So we already understood what is protoxylem and metaxylem. Next one, these particular protoxylems and metaxylems are arranged in plants. How they arranged in plants? Based on that concept, we are going to discuss two types of xylem. One is called endark xylem, another one is called exarch xylem. What is endark xylem? This type of xylems we can see in all stem, which means dicot stem and monocot stem. Dicot and monocot stem shows endark xylem. Exarch xylems we can see in all root, which means dicot root and monocot root. Dicot and monocot root shows exarch xylem. All the stem shows endark xylem. All the root shows exarch xylem. What is endark xylem? Look here. In stem, the protoxylem lie towards the center. Look, protoxylem. This is the protoxylem part. The first formed xylem. That protoxylem lie towards the center, which means the center is pith. We will discuss later what is pith. Okay, the protoxylem lie towards the center and the metaxylem towards the periphery. Protoxylem കാണുന്നത് എങ്ങോട്ടേക്കാണ്? സെന്ററിലേക്കും metaxylem അതിന്റെ പെരിഫറൽ ഭാഗത്തേക്കുമാണെങ്കിൽ that type of xylem is called endark xylem, or that type of primary xylem is called endark xylem. Is it clear? What is endark xylems? The protoxylem lie towards the center or pith and the metaxylem towards the periphery, that is called endark xylem. This type of xylem we can see in where? All stem, which means that is dicot stem and monocot stem. Then another one type of the xylem, that is called exarch xylem. Exarch xylem we can see in where? All root. Here the protoxylem means small xylem. Protoxylem lie towards the periphery. Look, this is the protoxylem, small xylem. That particular protoxylem lie towards the periphery and the metaxylem lie towards the center. Here metaxylem lie towards the center. Center is pith. Is it clear? So the metaxylem lie towards the center and the protoxylem lie towards the periphery. Such a type of primary xylem is called exarch xylem. Is it clear? What is endarch xylem? In endarch xylem, protoxylem lie towards the center and metaxylem towards the periphery. That is called endarch xylem. That particular xylem we can see in all stem. That is dicot stem and monocot stem. Another one type of the xylem that is called exarch xylem. In this case, protoxylem lie towards the periphery and metaxylem lie towards the center. Look, this is the center part. Here metaxylem, this is the protoxylem. So the metaxylem lie towards the center and the protoxylem lie towards the periphery. Such a type of primary xylem is called exarch xylem. This type of xylem we can see in all root. That is dicot root and monocot root. Is it clear? In this way the primary xylems are arranged in where? Dicot and monocot, stem and root. Is it clear? Next type of complex permanent tissue that is called phloem. We already know that complex tissues are made up of more than one type of cell. There are two type of complex tissue. One is xylem. We already understood what is xylem and what are the component of xylem, what are the type of xylem. We already learned this all. Next one type of complex tissue that is called phloem. What is phloem? These are the tissue that is responsible for transporting food from leaf to different part of the plant body. As a result of the photosynthesis, that particular leaf synthesize the food material. That food is transported from leaf to different part of the plant body with the help of phloem. Phloem also consists of 4 components because it is complex tissue. So it is made up of more than one type of cells. So what is phloem? It is the complex tissue that is helping for transporting food from leaf to different part of the plant body. Is it clear? ഫോട്ടോസിന്തസിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് ലീഫ് സിന്തസൈസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഫുഡ് മെറ്റീരിയലുകളെ അവിടെ നിന്ന് പ്ലാന്റിന്റെ വിവിധ ഭാഗങ്ങളിലേക്ക് എത്തിക്കുന്ന ഫങ്ഷൻസ് ആണ് ആര് നിർവഹിക്കുന്നത്? നമ്മളുടെ ഫ്ലോയം നിർവഹിക്കുന്നത്. ഫ്ലോയം നിർമ്മിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത് 4 കമ്പോണന്റുകൾ കൊണ്ടാണ്. വാട്ട് ആർ ദാറ്റ് പർട്ടിക്കുലർ കമ്പോണന്റ്സ്? There are 4 important components. One is called a sieve tube, another one is called a companion cell, another one is called a phloem fiber, another one is called a Phloem Parenchyma. What are the components? Sieve tube, companion cells, phloem fibers and Phloem Parenchyma. These are the 4 type of components found in where? Phloem. Xylem components. What are the xylem components? Xylem vessels, Xylem brackets, Xylem fiber and Xylem Parenchyma. What are the phloem components? Sieve tube, companion cells, Phloem Parenchyma, Phloem fiber. Is it clear? These are the 4 important components found in where? Phloem cells. Phloems are the complex tissues that is made up of more than one type of cells. That cells are sieve tube, companion cells, Phloem fiber and Phloem Parenchyma. What is the functions performed by the phloem? Transporting food material from leaf to different part of the plant body, or we can say the transportation. Is it clear? Or conduction. Here what they are conducting? Food conducting from one to different part of the plant body. Is it clear? So xylem and phloems are the conducting tissue or conductive tissue or transporting tissue, or we can call the vascular tissue. We will discuss later what is vascular tissue. Is it clear? This is the case of angiospermic plants. But in gymnosperm, this particular phloem lack companion cells and sieve tube. ജിംനോസ്പേമുകളിൽ എന്തില്ല? കമ്പാനിയൻ സെൽസും സീവ് ട്യൂബും ഇല്ല. പകരം അവിടെയുള്ള സെല്ലുകൾ ഏതൊക്കെയാണ്? ആൽബുമിനസ് സെൽസ് ആൻഡ് സീവ് സെൽസ്. ജിംനോസ്പേമുകളിലുള്ള എന്തൊക്കെയാണ്? ആൽബുമിനസ് സെൽസും സീവ് സെൽസുമാണുള്ളത്. അവിടെ എന്ത് കാണപ്പെടുന്നില്ല? സീവ് ട്യൂബും കമ്പാനിയൻ സെൽസും കാണപ്പെടുന്നില്ല. Look here, this is one of the phloem structure. Here we can see that sieve tube element, companion cells, Phloem Parenchyma and Phloem fiber. First one, sieve tube element. Look here, this is one of the phloem structure. This part is the sieve tube element. These are the long tube-like structure that is arranged longitudinally and are associated with the companion cell. ഇത് ഈ പറയുന്ന sieve tube companion cellsുമായിട്ട് അസോസിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്താണ് കാണപ്പെടുന്നത്. ആ sieve tube elementsന്റെ എൻഡ് വോളുകൾ നോക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അവിടെ ഒരു അരിപ്പ പോലുള്ള ഭാഗങ്ങൾ കാണാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ട്. or we can say that sieve പോലുള്ള ഭാഗങ്ങൾ കാണാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ട്. അതിനെയാണ് എന്തെന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, sieve plate എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ഒരു matured ആയിട്ടുള്ള sieve tube എടുക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ they lack nucleus, the same time their peripheral part contain cytoplasm and large vacuole. large vacuole peripheral ഭാഗത്ത് ഒരു സൈറ്റോപ്ലാസവും കാണപ്പെടുന്നുണ്ട്. എന്നാൽ ന്യൂക്ലിയസ് എവിടെ കാണുന്നില്ല, ഈ പറയുന്ന sieve tube കാണുന്നില്ല. What is the functions performed by the sieve tube? Conduction of organic food. Is it clear? Next one, companion cells. What is companion cells? It is a type of specialized parenchymatous cells that is associated with the sieve tube element. sieve tube elements ഉമായിട്ട് അസോസിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് കാണപ്പെടുന്ന ഒരു സ്പെഷ്യലൈസ്ഡ് പാരൻകൈമാറ്റസ് സെൽസിനെയാണ് എന്തെന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, കമ്പാനിയൻ സെൽസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ഇവിടെ sieve tube elements അതുപോലെ തന്നെ കമ്പാനിയൻ സെൽസും കണക്ട് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത് ഒരു പിറ്റ് ഫീൽഡ് വഴിയാണ്. ആ പിറ്റ് ഫീൽഡ് എവിടെയാണ് കാണപ്പെടുന്നത്, രണ്ട് സെല്ലിന്റെയും കോമൺ ലോഞ്ചിറ്റ്യൂഡിനൽ വോൾസിന്റെ ഇടയിലായിട്ടായിരിക്കും കാണപ്പെടുന്നത്. സോ ദ sieve tube elements and companion cells are connected by pit field present between their common longitudinal wall. What is the functions performed by these cells? It helps to maintain pressure gradient in sieve tube. sieve tube le pressure gradient ne maintain ചെയ്യുക എന്നുള്ള ഒരു ഫംഗ്ഷൻ ആണ് ആര് നിർവഹിക്കുന്നത്, കമ്പാനിയൻ സെൽ നിർവഹിക്കുന്നത്. Next one, Phloem Parenchyma. What is Phloem Parenchyma? The parenchyma cells are associated with the phloem, that is called a Phloem Parenchyma. Here, that particular Phloem Parenchyma cells are elongated, which contain dense cytoplasm and a nucleus. So the cells are thin. That particular cells are made up of cellulose. cellulose കൊണ്ട് നിർമ്മിച്ചിരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു സെൽ വോൾ ആയിരിക്കും എന്തിന് കാണപ്പെടുന്നത്, ഇത്തരത്തിലുള്ള Phloem Parenchymatous cells-ന് കാണപ്പെടുന്നത്. Phloem Parenchymas are absent in where monocotyledonous plants. monocot പ്ലാന്റുകളിൽ എന്ത് ആബ്സെന്റ് ആണ്, Phloem Parenchyma absent ആണ്. Is it clear? What is the functions performed by Phloem Parenchyma? They store the food materials. Is it clear? Not only the food material, other substances like resins, latex, mucilage. This particular substance also stored by Phloem Parenchyma. So we can say that the function is storage of different materials, including food. Is it clear? Next type of the phloem cell, that is called Phloem Fiber or bast fiber. This particular bast fiber or Phloem Fiber is made up of sclerenchymatous cells. Sclerenchymatous cells means that type of cells are dead cells. So we can say that these are the dead cells. How they are structured? These are elongated, unbranched and have pointed needle-like epicers. Look, their epicers is pointed or needle-like epicers. The same time, the cell wall is quite thick. Why is the cell wall is quite thick? Due to the deposition of lignin. Is it clear? That is the reason why the cell wall is quite thick. At maturity, this fiber lost protoplasm and become dead. ഇത് മെച്ചൂർ ആകുമ്പോഴത്തേക്കും അതിന്റെ പ്രോട്ടോപ്ലാസം അത് നഷ്ടപ്പെടുത്തുകയും അതോടൊപ്പം ആ സെൽ എന്തായി മാറുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നു, ഡെഡ് സെല്ലായിട്ട് മാറുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നു. ഈ ഫ്ലോയം ഫൈബറുകൾ ഉപയോഗിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് നമുക്ക് കൊമേഴ്ഷ്യൽ ആയിട്ടുള്ള കുറെ പ്രൊഡക്റ്റുകൾ ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ട്. Phloem fibers of jute, flax and hemp are used commercially. നമ്മൾക്ക് ഇത്തരം ഫ്ലോയം ഫൈബറുകൾ ഉപയോഗിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് പലതരത്തിലുള്ള പ്രൊഡക്റ്റുകൾ ഉണ്ടാക്കി കൊമേഴ്ഷ്യലി നമുക്കത് സെയിൽ ചെയ്യാനൊക്കെ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ട്. Phloem fibers of jute, flax and hemp are used commercially. The functions performed by the phloem fiber is mechanical support and protection of soft tissues. ഇതാണ് 4 പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട ഫ്ലോയം എലമെന്റ്സുകൾ. ഏതൊക്കെയാണ്? sieve tube, companion cells, then Phloem Parenchyma and Phloem Fiber. Out of these 4 components, 3 components are living components. What are they? Phloem Parenchyma, sieve tube and companion cell. Phloem Parenchyma, sieve tube and companion cell. These are the living tissues found in, or these are the living cells found in phloem tissues. Is it clear? Only one dead tissue is found in phloem, that is called a phloem fiber. Phloem fiber. Phloem fiber ന്റെ കേസിൽ അത് മെച്ചുവേർഡ് ആകുമ്പോഴാണ് അതിലുള്ള പ്രോട്ടോപ്ലാസം നഷ്ടപ്പെടുന്നത്. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ അതെന്തായി മാറുന്നു? ഡെഡ് ആയി മാറുന്നു. The same time that particular cells are made up of sclerenchymatous cells. ഇവിടെ ഫ്ലോയം ഫൈബറുകൾ കൊമേഴ്ഷ്യൽ ആയിട്ട് നമ്മൾ പ്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. ഏതൊക്കെയാണ് ആ കൊമേഴ്ഷ്യൽ പ്രൊഡക്ഷൻസ്? ജൂട്ട്, ഹെമ്പ്, ഫ്ലാക്സ്, ഇതൊക്കെ എന്താണ്? ഫ്ലോയം ഫൈബേഴ്സുകളാണ്. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ഇതിന്റെ ഫംഗ്ഷൻ എന്താണ്? മെക്കാനിക്കൽ സപ്പോർട്ടും അതുപോലെ തന്നെ പ്രൊട്ടക്ഷൻ, സോഫ്റ്റ് ടിഷ്യൂസിന് പ്രൊട്ടക്ഷനുകളും കൊടുക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. സോ ഇവിടെയും പ്രൈമറി ഫ്ലോയവും സെക്കൻഡറി ഫ്ലോയും ഉണ്ട്. During the primary growth, the primary phloem develop. During the secondary growth, the secondary phloem develop. That primary phloem is divided into two types. One is called a protophlloem and another one is called metaphlloem. Protophlloem means what? First formed phloem is called protophlloem, which contain narrow sieve tube. Which contain narrow sieve tube. Another one is called metaphlloem. What is metaphlloem? The later formed phloem is called metaphlloem, which contain bigger sieve tube. Protophlloemത്തിലെ narrow ആയിട്ടുള്ള sieve tubes ആയിരിക്കും കാണപ്പെടുന്നത്. എന്നാൽ മെറ്റാഫ്ലോയത്തിലെ ബിഗർ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ലാർജ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള എന്തായിരിക്കും കാണപ്പെടുന്നത്? sieve tube ആയിരിക്കും കാണപ്പെടുന്നത്. Is it clear? Next we are going to discuss about the tissue system. What is tissue system? A group of tissues performing a similar function that is called a tissue system. So here, based on the location and structure, tissue systems are of three types. One is called a epidermal tissue system, another one is called a ground or fundamental tissue system, another one is called a vascular or conducting tissue system. So what are the type of tissue system? Epidermal tissue system, ground or fundamental tissue system, then another one is called a vascular or conducting tissue system. What basis this classification? Based on their location and structure, tissue systems are classified into three. What are they? Epidermal tissue system, ground tissue system and a vascular tissue system. Is it clear? We know that tissues are formed from where? A group of similar cells work together to form a specific function that is called a tissues. Is it clear? First one is epidermal tissue system or dermal tissue system. It forms the outermost covering of the whole plant. ഒരു പ്ലാന്റിന്റെ ഔട്ടർമോസ്റ്റ് കവറിംഗ് ആണ് എന്തെന്ന് പറയുന്നത്? എപ്പിഡെർമിസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. അതിൽ എന്തെല്ലാം കാണപ്പെടുന്നുണ്ട്? ഇറ്റ് കംപ്രസൈസ് epidermal cell, stomata and epidermal appendages. അപ്പോൾ എപ്പിഡെർമൽ സെൽ എടുക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ആ എപ്പിഡെർമൽ സെല്ലിലെ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എപ്പിഡെർമൽ ടിഷ്യൂ സിസ്റ്റം എടുക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ആ എപ്പിഡെർമൽ ടിഷ്യൂ സിസ്റ്റത്തിൽ എന്തെല്ലാം കാണുന്നുണ്ട്? എപ്പിഡെർമിസ് കാണുന്നുണ്ട്, അതുപോലെ തന്നെ സ്റ്റൊമാറ്റ കാണുന്നുണ്ട്, അതുപോലെ തന്നെ എന്ത് കാണപ്പെടുന്നുണ്ട്? എപ്പിഡെർമൽ അപ്പൻഡേജസുകൾ കാണപ്പെടുന്നുണ്ട്. നമ്മൾ ആദ്യം ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്നത് എപ്പിഡെർമിസിനെ കുറിച്ചാണ്. വാട്ട് ഈസ് എപ്പിഡെർമിസ്? ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ദ ഔട്ടർ മോസ്റ്റ് ലെയർ of the primary plant body. ഒരു ലീഫ് ആയിക്കോട്ടെ, ഒരു സ്റ്റെം ആയിക്കോട്ടെ, ഒരു റൂട്ട് ആയിക്കോട്ടെ, നമ്മൾ അത് എടുക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ അതിന്റെ ഔട്ടർ മോസ്റ്റ് കവറിങ്ങിനെ പറയുന്ന പേരാണ് എന്ത്? അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഔട്ടർ മോസ്റ്റ് ലെയറിനെ പറയുന്ന പേരാണ് എന്ത്? എപ്പിഡെർമിസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. യൂഷ്വലി സിംഗിൾ ലെയർഡ്, the same time it is made up of elongated compactly arranged parenchymatous cells. parenchymatous cellsകൾ compactly arrange ചെയ്തിരിക്കും. എവിടെ? എപ്പിഡെർമിസിൽ. compactly arrangement means what? tightly packed arrangement ആണ് കാണപ്പെടുന്നത്. A small amount of cytoplasm lining the cell wall and a large vacuole. ആ എപ്പിഡെർമിസിലെ സൈറ്റോപ്ലാസവും കാണപ്പെടുന്നുണ്ട്, അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ഒരു ലാർജ് വാക്യൂളും എവിടെ കാണപ്പെടുന്നുണ്ട്? എപ്പിഡെർമിസ് ഭാഗത്ത് കാണപ്പെടുന്നുണ്ട്. Then the outside of the epidermis is often covered with a waxy thick layer that is called a cuticle. Look, this part, this is the outside of the epidermis. This part is contained, or this part is covered with a waxy thick layer that is called a cuticle. That particular cuticle helps to prevent the loss of water, but in the case of root there is no cuticle. In stem we can see that cuticle, but in the case of root there is no cuticle. So we can say that cuticle is absent in where? Root. This is one of the epidermal part of the plant stem. Okay. Then next part is called a stomata. Stomata, epidermis, epidermal appendages. All together we are calling epidermal tissue system, or we can say that the dermal tissue system. Next one, stomata. In small class onwards you are studying about the stomata. What is stomata? It is the minute pores present in the epidermis of the leaves. Leaf epidermis inde കാണപ്പെടുന്ന ഒരു minute പോറുകളെയാണ് എന്തെന്ന് വിളിക്കുന്നത്? Stomata എന്ന് വിളിക്കുന്നത്. What is the role of the stomata? It regulate the transpiration and gaseous exchange. What is transpiration? Loss of water, or we can say that excess water is expelled out through the stomatal pore. That is called transpiration. Then another one is gaseous exchange. Gaseous exchange means respiration. Plants respiration takes place through stomata. Stomata is made up of two bean-shaped cells that is called a guard cell. Look, this is one of the stomatal structure. Here if you observe, we can see that particular stomata is made up of two bean-shaped structure that is called a guard cell. Two bean-shaped structure that is called a guard cell. In grasses, guard cells are dumbbell shaped. So in dicot plants, guard cells are like bean-shaped structure, but in the case of monocot plants, especially the grass, that is monocot plants, in that case the guard cells are dumbbell-shaped guard cells. Then the outer wall of the guard cells. The outer wall, look, this is the structure of stomata. So these two parties we can call what? Guard cells. These are the guard cell, two bean-shaped structure that is called guard cell. The outer wall of the guard cell. Which one is the outer wall of the guard cell? This is the guard cell. The outer wall is this one. That guard cell outer walls are thin and the inner walls are highly thick. Outer wall of the guard cells are thin and the inner wall of the guard cells are highly thick, which means away from the stomatal pore. This is the stomatal pore. Away from the stomatal pore parts are thin and towards the stomatal pores are highly thickened. Guard cells which contain the chloroplasts. These are the chloroplasts. I already mentioned this is the guard cell. This part is the guard cell. Within the guard cell there is a chloroplast. That particular guard cells are helps to regulate the closing and opening of stomata. So what is the functions performed by guard cells? It helps to regulate the opening and closing of stomata. Then sometimes some epidermal cells near the guard cells become specialized in shape and size. They are called subsidiary cells. Epidermal cells associated with the guard cell, that is called subsidiary cells. Once again I repeat the structure of stomata. What is stomata? It is the minute pore found in where leaves epidermis, that is called a stomata, which consists of two bean-shaped structure that is called a guard cell. Guard cells are protected by subsidiary cell. The epidermal cells, this part, the epidermal cells associated with the guard cell, that is called a subsidiary cells. So the stomatal aperture, this part, the stomatal aperture and the guard cell, this part, and the subsidiary cells part together, these three parts together we can call stomatal complex or stomatal apparatus. What we call stomatal complex or stomatal apparatus. Is it clear? It is very important. What is stomatal complex or stomatal apparatus? Stomatal aperture, or we can say that stomatal pore and guard cells and subsidiary cells together we can call stomatal apparatus or stomatal complex. Is it clear? So what is the functions performed by the stomata? Transpiration and exchange of gases, or we can say that gaseous exchange. Is it clear? Next one, the epidermal appendages. What is epidermal appendages? It's a part of epidermal tissue system which consists of two types. One is called a root hair, another one is called a trichomes. Root hairs are found in where? Root epidermal cells, and trichomes are present in where? Stem epidermal cells. Is it clear? So we can say that root hairs are found in root epidermal cells and trichomes are found in where? Epidermal cells of stems. So the root hairs are the unicellular elongation and the trichomes are the multicellular branched or unbranched structure. So the functions performed by the root hair is to absorb water and mineral from the soil. Soil നിന്ന് വാട്ടറിനെയും മിനറൽസിനെയും അബ്സോർബ് ചെയ്യുക എന്നുള്ള ഫംഗ്ഷനാണ് എന്ത് നിർവഹിക്കുന്നത്? റൂട്ട് ഹെയർ നിർവഹിക്കുന്നത്. സോ റൂട്ട് ഹെയർ ഈസ് ഒക്കേഴ്സ് ഇൻ വെയർ? root, and trichomes are found in where? Stem. What is the functions performed by the trichomes? This particular trichomes helps to prevent the water loss due to transpiration. That is the functions performed by trichomes. So we can say that the epidermal tissues consist of epidermis, stomata and trichomes. All together we are calling epidermal tissue system. Then another one type of the tissue system, that is called a ground tissue system. What is ground tissue system? Next one is called a ground tissue system. What is ground tissue system? All tissues except epidermis and vascular bundle, that is called a ground tissue. Look here, this is one of the tissue system. Here we can see that the outermost layer part, that is considered as the epidermal tissue system or dermal tissue system. Within the epidermal tissue system, another tissue system is present. This part, that is considered as the ground tissue system. Within that particular ground tissue system, which type of tissue systems are present? Vascular tissue systems are present. All together we can call say plant tissue system. So the ground tissue systems means all tissues except epidermis and vascular bundle, which means this dermal tissue is not coming under that category. The same way the vascular tissue also not coming under that category. Other tissues we can call ground tissue system. It consists of simple tissues. Ground tissue system consists of simple tissues or simple permanent tissue, that is parenchyma, collenchyma or sclerenchyma. These are the tissues we can see in where ground tissue system. The same time the parenchyma cells are present in where cortex, pericycle, pith and medullary rays. We will discuss later what is cortex, what is pericycle, what is pith and medullary rays. In leaves, the ground tissue is composed of thin-walled chlorenchymatous cells, that is called a mesophyll tissues. What is called? Mesophyll tissue. What is chlorenchyma? Chlorenchyma means parenchyma cells with chloroplast, that is called chlorenchyma. So leaf എടുക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ അവിടുത്തെ ഗ്രൗണ്ട് ടിഷ്യൂ എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് നിർമ്മിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത്? ക്ലോറൻകൈമാറ്റസ് സെല്ലുകൾ കൊണ്ടാണ് നിർമ്മിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത്. ക്ലോറൻകൈമാറ്റസ് സെൽ, അതിനെ വിളിക്കുന്ന പേരാണ് എന്ത്? മീസോഫിൽ. ഇസ് ഇറ്റ് ക്ലിയർ? അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നത് ഏതാണ്? ഗ്രൗണ്ട് ടിഷ്യൂ സിസ്റ്റത്തെ കുറിച്ചാണ്. ഗ്രൗണ്ട് ടിഷ്യൂ സിസ്റ്റം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ എന്തൊക്കെയാണ്? എപ്പിഡെർമസ് ടിഷ്യൂ സിസ്റ്റവും അതുപോലെ വാസ്കുലർ ടിഷ്യൂ സിസ്റ്റവും ഒഴിച്ചുള്ള ഭാഗത്തെയാണ് ഗ്രൗണ്ട് ടിഷ്യൂ സിസ്റ്റം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. അതിൽ എന്തെല്ലാം കാണപ്പെടുന്നുണ്ട്? സിമ്പിൾ പെർമനന്റ് ടിഷ്യൂസ് ആയ പാരൻകൈമ സെല്ലുകളുള്ള ഗ്രൗണ്ട് ടിഷ്യൂസ് ഉണ്ട്, കോളൻകൈമ ഉള്ളതുണ്ട്, സ്ക്ലെറൻകൈമ ഉള്ളതുണ്ട്. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ പാരൻകൈമ സെൽസുകൾ എവിടെയെല്ലാം കാണപ്പെടുന്നുണ്ട്? കോർട്ടെക്സ് ഭാഗത്ത് കാണപ്പെടുന്നുണ്ട്, പെരിസൈക്കിൾ ഭാഗത്ത് കാണപ്പെടുന്നുണ്ട്, പിത്ത് ഭാഗത്ത് കാണപ്പെടുന്നുണ്ട്, അതുപോലെ തന്നെ മെഡുലറി റേസിന്റെ ഭാഗത്തൊക്കെ കാണപ്പെടുന്നുണ്ട്. പ്രൈമറി സ്റ്റെമുകളിലും റൂട്ടുകളിലൊക്കെ ഇത് കാണപ്പെടുന്നുണ്ട്. ലീഫുകളിൽ ഈ പറയുന്ന ഗ്രൗണ്ട് ടിഷ്യൂ കമ്പോസ് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത് തിൻവോൾഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ക്ലോറൻകൈമാറ്റസ് സെല്ലുകൾ കൊണ്ടാണ്. അതിനെ വിളിക്കുന്ന പേരാണ് എന്ത്? മീസോഫിൽ. ക്ലോറൻകൈമ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ എന്താണ്? പാരൻകൈമ സെൽസ് വിത്ത് ക്ലോറോപ്ലാസ്റ്റ്, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് കോൾഡ് ക്ലോറൻകൈമ. Is it clear? So the next one is vascular tissue system. What is vascular tissue system? It consists of a complex tissues, that is xylem and phloem. So the xylem and phloems are called a vascular tissue system, or we can say that xylem and phloem together constitute the vascular bundle based on the presence or absence of cambium. What is cambium? Lateral medicine or secondary medicine. Based on that particular presence or absence of cambium, there are two type of vascular bundle. One is called open type vascular bundle and another one is closed type of vascular bundle. This is very important. What are the two type of vascular bundle? Open type of vascular bundle and a closed type of vascular bundle. What is open type of vascular bundle? In this type of vascular bundle, between the xylem and phloem there is a cambium, or we can say that cambium is present between the xylem and phloem in a vascular bundle, that is called a open vascular bundle. This type of vascular bundle we can see in where dicot stem. All the dicot stem shows open type vascular bundle. Is it clear? Open type vascular bundle. What is open type vascular bundle? There is a cambium between the xylem and phloem in a bundle, that is called open vascular bundle. Then another one is called a closed vascular bundle. Here there is no cambium between the xylem and phloem. In this case there is no cambium between the xylem and phloem in a bundle, that is called a closed type vascular vascular bundle. Example, monocot plants. Monocot plants. In monocot plants, we can see that what type of vascular bundle? Closed vascular bundle. Look this picture, open vascular bundle, closed vascular bundle. Here the vascular bundle consists of phloem and xylem. Xylem is below the cambium and above the cambium which one is located? Phloem is located. Look here, between the phloem and xylem there is a cambium, so we can call open vascular bundle. But here look, there is no cambium between the phloem and xylem, so we can call closed vascular bundle. Is it clear? Now we already discussed about the based on the presence or absence of cambium, two types. Is it clear? Vascular bundles are two types, open and closed. The next one, based on the arrangement of xylem and phloem in a vascular bundle. ഒരു വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിൽ സൈലത്തിന്റെയും ഫ്ലോയത്തിന്റെയും അറേഞ്ച്മെന്റ് അനുസരിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിലിനെ രണ്ടായിട്ട് തരംതിരിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. വൺ ഈസ് കോൾഡ് റേഡിയൽ വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിൽ, അനദർ വൺ ഈസ് കോൾഡ് കൺജോയിന്റ് വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിൽ. What we call radial vascular bundle and conjoint vascular bundle. What do you mean by radial vascular bundle? Look this picture. Radial vascular bundle, xylem and phloem arranged in an alternate manner on different radii. Alternate manner different റേഡിയസിലായിരിക്കും സൈലവും ഫ്ലോയും അറേഞ്ച് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. അതായത് സൈലം ബണ്ടിലും ഫ്ലോയം ബണ്ടിലും സെപ്പറേറ്റ് റേഡിയസിലായിരിക്കും എവിടെ അറേഞ്ച് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്? റേഡിയൽ ടൈപ്പ് വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിലിൽ അറേഞ്ച് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. That type of vascular bundle is called a radial vascular bundle. Look here, this is the xylem bundle, this is the phloem bundle. These are arranged on different radii. The next one is called a conjoint type. What is conjoint type? Here the xylem and phloems are arranged in same bundle. Xylems and phloems are arranged in same bundle. Here xylem and phloems are arranged in different bundle, that is on the different radii. But in the case of conjoint type, xylem and phloems are jointly situated at the same radius of the vascular bundle. Xylem phloem same റേഡിയസിലായിരിക്കും വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിലിൽ അറേഞ്ച് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. അത്തരത്തിലുള്ള അറേഞ്ച്മെന്റ് ഓഫ് വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിലിനെ വിളിക്കുന്ന പേരാണ് എന്ത്? കൺജോയിന്റ് ടൈപ്പ് വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിൽ ഓർ കൺജോയിന്റ് വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിൽ. അതും സൈഡ് ബൈ സൈഡ് ആയിട്ടായിരിക്കും അറേഞ്ച് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അതിനെ നമ്മൾ കൊളാട്രൽ വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിൽ എന്ന് കൂടി വിളിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. കൺജോയിന്റ് കൊളാട്രൽ വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിൽ. ആ കൺജോയിന്റ് കൊളാട്രൽ വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിലാണ് എന്ത് വരുന്നത്? ഓപ്പൺ വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിലും ക്ലോസ്ഡ് വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിലും വരുന്നത്. ഇതിപ്പോ ഈ കാണിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത് എന്താണ്? കൺജോയിന്റ് കൊളാട്രൽ ക്ലോസ്ഡ് വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിൽ there is no cambium. എന്നാൽ ഈ കാണിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത് എന്താണ്? കൺജോയിന്റ് കൊളാട്രൽ ഓപ്പൺ വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിൽ ആണ്, because there is a cambium between the phloem and xylem. So the radial type of vascular bundle we can see in all roots. All roots means dicot roots and monocot roots possess what kind of vascular bundle? Radial type of vascular bundle. The same time conjoint type vascular bundle we can see in where? Stem. Dicot stem, monocot stem. There is difference. Conjoint type, dicot stem, open vascular bundle, monocot stem, closed vascular bundle. That is the difference. But the conjoint vascular bundle can seen in where? Stem. In all the roots, what type of vascular bundle? Radial type vascular bundle. What basis this classification? Based on the arrangement of xylem and phloem in vascular bundle, there are two type, radial type and a conjoint type. Is it clear? നേരത്തെ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നു കൊളാട്രൽ ബണ്ടിൽ. കൊളാട്രൽ ബണ്ടിൽ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ സൈലവും ഫ്ലോയവും അറേഞ്ച് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത് സൈഡ് ബൈ സൈഡ് ആയിട്ടാണ് വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിൽ എങ്കിൽ അതിനെയാണ് കൊളാട്രൽ വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിൽ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ആ കൊളാട്രൽ വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിലാണ് ഏത് വരുന്നത്? ഓപ്പൺ കൊളാട്രൽ വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിലും അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ക്ലോസ്ഡ് കൊളാട്രൽ വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിലും. അപ്പോൾ ഓപ്പൺ കൊളാട്രൽ വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിലായ ക്ലോസ്ഡ് കൊളാട്രൽ വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിലായാലും അത് രണ്ടും എന്താണ്? കൺജോയിന്റ് ടൈപ്പ് ആണ്. കൺജോയിന്റ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ എന്താണ്? സൈലവും ഫ്ലോയും ജോയിൻ ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് സെയിം റേഡിയസിലായിരിക്കും ആ വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിൽ കാണപ്പെടുന്നത്. അതിനെയാണ് എന്തെന്ന് വിളിക്കുന്നത്? കൺജോയിന്റ് കൊളാട്രൽ വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിൽ. Is it clear? Next one is concentric vascular bundle. Concentric vascular bundle എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഒരു വാസ്കുലാർ ടിഷ്യൂസ് സെൻട്രൽ പൊസിഷനിൽ വരും, അതിനെ സറൗണ്ട് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് അടുത്ത വാസ്കുലാർ ടിഷ്യൂസ് വരും. ഇപ്പൊ സപ്പോസ് സൈലമാണ് സെൻട്രൽ പൊസിഷനിൽ വരുന്നതെങ്കിൽ അതിനെ സറൗണ്ട് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് എന്ത് വരും? ഫ്ലോയം ടിഷ്യൂസ് വരും. അങ്ങനെ അറേഞ്ച് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്ന വാസ്കുലാർ ടിഷ്യൂസിനെ വിളിക്കുന്ന പേരാണ് എന്ത്? കോൺസെൻട്രിക് വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിൽ. ഇസ് ഇറ്റ് ക്ലിയർ? അപ്പൊ സൈലത്തിന്റെയും ഫ്ലോയത്തിന്റെയും അറേഞ്ച്മെന്റിന്റെ അടിസ്ഥാനത്തിലാണ് വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിലുകളെ എന്താണെന്ന് വിളിക്കുന്നത്? റേഡിയൽ വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിലുകളെന്നും കൺജോയിന്റ് വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിലുകളെന്നും കോൺസെൻട്രിക് വാസ്കുലാർ ബണ്ടിലുകളെന്നും വിളിക്കുന്നത്. ഇസ് ഇറ്റ് ക്ലിയർ?